coming from as far as the Great Lakes and Gulf Coast. Today, Poverty Point is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a national monument, recognized as one of the most important prehistoric earthworks in North America. Do you want to break it down in a simple presentation-ready version like quick bullet points, or in a more detailed history?
Yes.
Got it. Here's a presentation-ready quick breakdown of Poverty Point. Location, northeastern Louisiana, near the Mississippi River. Age, built around 1700 to 1100 BCE, about 3,400 years old. Significance, one of the largest and most complex earthworks in North America. Design, huge mounds, concentric ridges, shaped like a giant bird or sunburst. Trade hub, artifacts from as far as the Great Lakes, Appalachians, and Gulf Coast found here. Recognition, UNESCO World Heritage Site and US National Monument. Would you like me to also create a visual map diagram style of the site layout for your presentation?
Yes. Yes.
LiDAR map of the core area of the Poverty Point site, 16WC5, showing download scientific diagram. Cool. Here are a few map diagram styles of Poverty Point, a custom layout by a custom layout idea you can use or adapt in your presentation. Sample maps and diagrams, a LiDAR topographic map showing the 6 concentric ridges and the principal mounds, Mound A, etc. A visitor park map showing walking, driving trails, and labeling of key features. A cultural feature map overlaying ridges, mounds, and swamp river terrain. A map showing the site in relation to wetlands and waterways in the region. Custom layout idea for your presentation. Here's a suggested slide layout, diagrams, labels you could build. Title, Layout of Poverty Point Earthworks, component description, label on diagram. Outer 6 concentric ridges. Show the 6 C-shaped ridges, mark them. Ridge 1 equals innermost. Ridge 6 equals outermost. 4 aisles, sectors. Divide the ridges into sectors, e.g. north, west, southwest, south, between the ridges. Plaza area, the space enclosed by the innermost ridge and the eastern edge of the ridges. Label plaza inside. Mound A, massive mound to the west of the ridges. Label it clearly. Possibly mark its shape, T-shaped platform conical portion. Mounds B, C, D, E, etc. Show approximate positions of other mounds, conical, flat-topped, etc. Water, wetlands, river proximity, show nearby floodplain or water source, Mississippi River, Bayou, etc. to provide context. If you like, I can draw, digitally sketch a clean, simplified version of this diagram for you that's ready to pop into your slides. Do you want me to make that?
Yes. Yes. See, now this is some stuff in Louisiana, what I'm talking about right here. Hold on a second. Now this place right here, it predates the Egyptian pyramids. It do. The mounds do. You go check it out yourself.
If you're looking to spruce up the outside of your house, these are the coolest and easiest lights you can buy and require no tools to install. Each box comes with everything you need and covers up to 100 feet. The bulbs have an attached...
Immediately adjacent to these very rich bottomland forest and hardwood areas that are so abundant as far as plants.
For centuries, the Middle East has been considered the cradle of civilization. The acceptance of the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai, the Great Pyramids of Egypt, the laws of Hammurabi. These are the legacies of Middle Eastern societies that flourished 2,000 years before the birth of...
Now, when I was a kid, I used to go down to Baton Rouge. I'd be like, look at these mounds. I used to go to Mount Puglia. I'd be like, look, what is these mounds? What is that? Then come to find out, even on the LSU campus, they got them. Watch this. Indian mounds on LSU campus. How old are the mounds? Watch this. Let me go to GPT. Watch this. Hold on a second. How old is the Indian mounds on LSU campus? LSU campus, man.
The Indian campus mounds at LSU are super ancient. Here's a breakdown of what we know with some recent research that updated the estimates. How old are they? Early studies in the 1980s estimated the mounds were 5,000 to 6,000 years old, based on radiocarbon dating of soil cores. 64 parishes. More recently, 2022, LSU geology professor Brooks Elwood published new data that suggests the southern mound, Mound B, has layers at its base that date to 11,300 years old, making parts of the mounds potentially the oldest known human-made structures still standing in North America. Important caveats. The 11,300 years figure comes from a sample at the bottom of the mound. There's still uncertainty about how continuous the construction was. Not all of the mounds that old. Some materials and layers are younger. The mounds likely grew in stages. 64 parishes.
Okay.
So in short, parts of the LSU Indian mound.
64 parishes. What they saying? These are the parishes they talking about. Okay, let me see. What is the Indian parishes of Louisiana, Livingston, Louisiana? So Choctaw, Baton Rouge is what they call Choctaw. Indians were there.
I couldn't find anything precise called Indian parishes of Livingston.
Hold on a second here. Let me see here. I gotta pronounce it right. I got the right pronunciation for it. I'm talking about this right here. Hold on. Why do they call? Okay, Why do you call Springfield, Louisiana, Springfield? Why did it call Springfield, Louisiana, Springfield? Where did it get the name from?
They call Springfield, Louisiana, Springfield because of the abundant groundwater springs, artesian springs in that area.
Totally.
Wikipedia. Here are some details. A historic marker in Springfield says, named for abundant groundwater springs. Historical Marker Project. The Wikipedia entry for Springfield, LA, notes the name comes from numerous artesian springs in the area. Wikipedia. Earlier, the place was called Buchter's Landing, but after springs in the area were recognized, the name Springfield was adopted when the town was incorporated in 1838. USA Cities Online, if you want, I can try to find out where exactly these springs were, their locations, and whether any are still visible.
I got one in my backyard. Damn thing, you're tripping, man. Come on. Oh, let's see.
I'm here. Sounds like you're about to say something to me directly. Want to finish your thought?
What about Abita Springs, Louisiana? Abita Springs, Louisiana. I've tripped my phone, camera tripping.
I couldn't find any reliable information about a place called
Okay, Abita. Abita Springs. I said it wrong. I ain't pronouncing it right. Let me get this camera right on this phone. Come on, camera. Yeah, okay, I got that back now. Okay. All right. Now, what I'm saying is, now you got these springs in Springfield. Hold on, let me get back to it. There you go.
They call Springfield, Louisiana, Springfield because of the abundant groundwater springs, artesian springs in that area. Wikipedia, here are some details. Historic marker in Springfield says, named for abundant groundwater springs. Historical Marker Project. The Wikipedia entry for Springfield, LA, notes the name comes from numerous artesian springs in the area. Wikipedia, earlier the place was called Buchter's Landing, but after springs in the area were recognized, the name Springfield was adopted when the town was incorporated in 1838. USA Cities Online.
Now,
if you want, I can try to find out where exactly...
Now, I live over there. Now, when I was a kid, everybody got the well water around there. When my father, when they put we had our extension well in the back of our yard. Got clear water coming out of there. My brother ain't got sense enough to put a pump on there and get some of that free water. Come on, Wayne. Come on, bro. Now, that's why they call the town Springfield. I've been telling y'all that. It ain't just, you know what I'm saying? Now, let me ask another thing. Hold on, let me find one thing out here. Where did Puerto Rico get his name? Why did they name it Puerto Rico?
Great question. Here's the story of why Puerto Rico is called Puerto Rico. Original name, when Christopher Columbus landed there in 1493, he called the island San Juan Bautista, St. John the Baptist. Shift in naming, the main port city became known as Puerto Rico, rich port, because it was a valuable harbour for trade, gold export, and ships crossing the Atlantic. Over time, people began calling the whole island Puerto Rico, and the city became known as San Juan. The names basically switched places, meaning Puerto Rico literally means rich port in Spanish, reflecting the wealth the Spanish believed the island's resources and strategic harbor would bring. Would you like me to also include what the Taino people who lived there before Columbus originally called the island? The Taino people, the indigenous inhabitants of Puerto Rico, originally called the island Boriken or Borinquen. Hash, what it means. In the Taino language and Arawakan language, Boriken is often translated as land of the valiant lord or great land of the brave and noble people. It reflects both the island's beauty and the pride of its people. Legacy. Even today, Puerto Ricans proudly use the term Boricua to identify themselves, directly from Boriken. You'll also see Borinquen used in poetry, music, and cultural expressions as a way of honoring Taino heritage. Do you want me to make you a timeline graphic showing the evolution of Puerto Rico's name, Boriken, San Juan Bautista, Puerto Rico? Here's a timeline graphic showing the evolution of Puerto Rico's name from the Taino Boriken to Columbus's San Juan Bautista, and finally to Puerto Rico, with the city becoming San Juan. Would you like me to style this further with flags or cultural symbols? Taino sun, Spanish crown, Puerto Rican flag to make it more visually engaging for a presentation? Here's the styled timeline, now with cultural symbols and a subtle Puerto Rican flag motif across the top for presentation flair. Do you want me to also make a clean PNG PDF export so you can drop it straight into a slideshow?
This is all stuff you can do with Chat GPT. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty good. What type of people was living in the city of Springfield, Louisiana before the 1800s?
Before the 1800s, the area around what is now Springfield, Livingston Parish, Louisiana, was inhabited by Native American tribes, and by the early 18th century, it started seeing European influence. Here's a summary. Who lived there before the 1800s? 1. Indigenous peoples. The earliest inhabitants were native tribes living off hunting, fishing, gathering, and small-scale agriculture. National Park Service. Specific tribes in the broader region included the Huma and Bayou Gula.
Bayou Gula, hey, the Bayou Gula, that's what I said. Now, Bayou Gula, I'm from Louisiana. See what I'm saying now? That's why the Trail of Tears come right to our houses. They had a thing at the high school, Bayou Gula. You know what I'm saying? That's where Terry's girlfriend from, over there. Now, see, how is it that they saying before the 1800s, what type of people us? That's why we look different. We look like, when we go, people in Louisiana thinking, when you leave Louisiana, people don't know what you is. They don't. They think you're Spanish, wherever you go. You know what I'm saying? I had to go get a new birth certificate and everything. Now, I'm from Louisiana. I've been telling people that. Some people don't travel. Some people don't travel. They don't know nothing. You gotta travel and see different things and see your heritage. What you is, who are you? You know what I'm saying? Now you gotta realize what was happening for the 1800s, for the 1700s. Okay, what type of people was in Louisiana during the 1400s? What type of people was living in Springfield, Louisiana during the 1400s? That's how my people had all that land. Sheridan got all that land. That's why Sheridan got them 50 acres back there. They got their acres, 20 acres.
In the 1400s, 15th century, long before Springfield, Louisiana existed as a town, the land around present-day Livingston Parish was home to Native American peoples. Who they were. The region near Lake Maurepas and the Natalbany River was part of the homeland of Muskegean-speaking peoples, especially ancestors of the Choctaw and related tribes. Other nearby groups included the Houma, Bayou-Gula, Tangipahoa, and Acolapissa, all tribes documented in the
That's
Port of
us.
Florida parishes
Hey,
area.
that's
where
us. I was telling my brother, see my brother them, he never even left. He never left the state. He left a couple times, but never really get around. I tell him. Everybody tell me, man, when I went somewhere, California, I say, man, I went all over California. Hey, then people talk to me, they thought I was Indian, they thought I was this, they thought I was that. And then, like I say, around there, people, they get gray hair at a young age out there, too. Because you notice, you don't turn black right here. I'm talking about a young age. And a lot of people thinking, go back to Africa when you was there. What you mean? You probably poor people. What are you saying? How you African? I'm just saying. Okay, let me ask another question. How old is the Spanish courthouse in Springfield, Louisiana? When was it? See, a lot of us were Spanish and they took the language from you. And French, you got French and Spanish in Louisiana.
The old Livingston Parish Courthouse in Springfield, Louisiana, was built in 1835. Wikipedia. So as of 2025, it's about 990 years old. If you want, I can also tell you when it stopped being used as a courthouse and what it's used for now. Here's what I found about when the old Livingston Parish Courthouse in Springfield, Louisiana, stopped being used as a courthouse and what it's been used for since then. When it stopped being used as a courthouse, the building served as the parish courthouse from 1835, when Springfield became the parish seat of Livingston Parish, until 1872, when the parish seat was moved to Port Vincent. Wikipedia, what it's been used for since then. After 1872, when it was no longer the active courthouse, the building had many different roles over the years. It functioned as a voting precinct for elections. Wikipedia. Later, it was used as a grocery store, after being owned by the Satoon family.
Oh, Satoon. Oh, that was it. Satoon.
Wikipedia.
That was
After the grocery store period, it's been rented and used for various purposes,
That was
as a
the
meeting
courthouse.
place, a residence,
Okay,
and
hold on,
for
hold on.
events.
What about the old Spanish courthouse in Springfield, Louisiana?
I couldn't find anything credible about a building called the Old Spanish Courthouse in Springfield, Louisiana. Here's what I did find, which might clarify what you meant, plus what the records say about the known historic courthouse there. Partner, what is known? Old Livingston Parish Courthouse, Springfield. It was built in 1835 in Springfield. Wikipedia. Originally, that building was a bank owned by the New Orleans Gas, Light and Banking Company. Wikipedia. After the bank failed in 1843, the parish acquired the building and used it as the parish courthouse until 1872, when the seat of government moved to Port Vincent. Wikipedia. Since then, the building has served several roles: voting precinct, grocery store, meeting place, residence. Wikipedia. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places since 1989. Wikipedia. What about Old Spanish Courthouse? Possible clarifications. The phrase Spanish courthouse doesn't seem to match anything official in the historic record. It might be a mishearing or misnickname. There is a historical marker in Springfield that mentions a Spanish fort about 1800 associated with the Spanish reign, 1783 to 1810. HMDB. It's possible Old Spanish Courthouse was used colloquially or incorrectly by someone to refer either to the old parish courthouse or to some Spanish administrative or military building, such as the fort or stockade.
Bought a plantation in Springfield, Louisiana. The history of it.
Here's a detailed history of Carter Plantation in Springfield, Louisiana. Its origins, architecture, ownership, and what it is today. If you want, I can also pull up some historical images or floor plans. Ash, origins and early history. The land was originally part of West Florida and was under Spanish control in 1804. The Library of Congress. In 1804, the property was deeded under a Spanish land grant James Reams, or Ream. The Library
James.
of Congress. In 1817, Thomas Freeman bought the property from Reams. Wikipedia. Construction and architecture. Between 1817 and 1820, Thomas Freeman built the Plantation House, which he named Sycamore. The Library of Congress. Architecturally, the house is built in a style combining Federal and Greek Revival elements. It is a raised plantation house with dog trot style features typical of the region and climate. Wikipedia. Materials used were mostly sourced on site: cypress and pine for wood, bricks made on the plantation, mortar made using clay.
Was the owner's African American?
Yes, the very first owner of Carter Plantation, Thomas Freeman, was an African American. He was a free man of color, born in Virginia, 1773, and became the first African American to own property in Livingston
I
Parish.
live down the street from
In
it.
1817, he purchased the land and built the house, then called Sycamore. He lived there with his wife, Isabella, and
I
their
know all
3
these
children.
people.
After Thomas Freeman sold the property in
That's my
1838,
family.
it passed to white
That's
owners.
my family.
William L. Carr, Breed, George Richardson, and then the Carter family.
The Carter family,
The name
my
of Carter
family.
Plantation stuck. Do you want me to trace a bit about how Freeman, as a free black man in early 1800s Louisiana, was able to acquire land under a Spanish land grant?
Yes.
It's a really interesting part of Louisiana history.
I'm a freedman. My people can get land grants too. Back in the...
Great. Here's how Thomas Freeman, a free African American, was able to acquire Carter Plantation in the early 1800s and why Louisiana's Spanish era made this possible. Spanish, Louisiana, and land ownership. When Spain controlled Louisiana, 1763-1800, its colonial policies were generally more flexible than French or later American ones regarding free people of color, gens de couleur libres. Free black people could own property, run businesses, and sell land under Spanish civil law. They could also receive land grants from the Spanish crown, something less common under later US rule. Thomas Freeman's path. Born in 1773 in Virginia, Freeman was a free black man. an unusual status in the American South of that time. By 1817, he had the resources to purchase land near the Blood River in Springfield, then still influenced by Spanish grant traditions. On this land, he built the plantation house Sycamore, later renamed Carter Plantation. His ownership marked him as the first African-American property owner in Livingston Parish. Why it matters. Freeman's ownership shows how Spanish and early territorial Louisiana offered opportunity.
Okay. Okay, now, see, that's how Sherelle, how Brendan them, and all them live on the Carter Plantation. Like they were telling us, everybody about that. And they got the plaque showing them. See, but they sold it, though. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people got land now. My people got land, too. And they ain't got to pay no taxes. Land free. They pay, you know what I'm saying, exemption on it. And that's how Henry Bell got all that land. They got all that land. Up where I'm from, people own their own land. You know what I'm saying? And they had stores out there, had businesses going out there. You know what I'm saying? And hey, I'm being real now.
That later eras closed off. After Louisiana became a U.S. state in 1812, the legal and social environment for free people of color grew much harsher. His ability to not only purchase, but also hold and operate a plantation in 1817 was remarkable, especially since many free black landowners elsewhere in the South faced restrictions. Would you like me to create a timeline graphic that shows how ownership shifted? Freeman, Breed, Richardson, Carter family, with notes about the legal context for each period? That way you'd see both the people and the laws shaping Carter Plantation's history.
Hey, I told Joe. Hey, I've been telling Joe about this. Joe Carter, he had moved to California, and he did.
Here's the Carter Plantation ownership timeline I built, showing Thomas Freeman's pioneering ownership, the shift through the Breed and Richardson families, and the Carter name taking hold. Download timeline PNG. Please open your app to see this link. Want me to also generate a PDF or PowerPoint slide version so you can use it in a presentation?
Yes.
Here's the PDF version of the Carter Plantation ownership timeline ready for presentations. Download PDF. Please open your app to see this link. Would you like me to also make a PowerPoint slide .pptx version for easy drop into a deck?
Yes. Okay, now. Now, this is what my people used to do. This is what we used to do when we was kids. Now, Sherelle and them, they own the farm. Now, every year, they come out there, they grow shit out in Springfield, Louisiana, and they would take the stuff to Kenner, to sell it in Kenner at the markets. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of years. And around there, people own a lot of land. They own land, own their own land. Just like you said, in the 1700s, we was Indians. And then we turned to African Americans all of a sudden. Like down, okay, let me ask a question. Springfield, Louisiana do a reenactment every year. What type of reenactment they do at the Springfield Elementary School? See. A reenactment for the war, right by the. In Springfield, they do a reenactment for war every year. What's the name of that reenactment for the war? Which war are they doing it for? the reenactment for the war they do in Springfield, Louisiana every year for the Trail of Tears.
I couldn't find evidence that Springfield, Louisiana holds a reenactment each year specifically for the Trail of Tears. Here's what I discovered, plus what is likely given what we know. What I found, there is a lot of historic activity in Springfield, Louisiana revolving around the Civil War,
Civil War.
annual reenactments tied to that conflict. I found no reliable source saying there's a Trail of Tears reenactment at Springfield Elementary School or elsewhere in Springfield, LA. The Trail of Tears is part of US history involving forced removal of Native Americans, Cherokee. Tears, especially because many events involve Native American removal history, but not necessarily the full Trail of Tears route. Sometimes schools or local groups might hold a remembrance or walk rather than a full reenactment. Could be a smaller community-led event, maybe not widely documented, or informal drama/performance rather than a large public reenactment. If you like, I can try digging through local papers, school newsletters, or Livingston Parish Historical Society records to see if there is such a reenactment for the Trail of Tears in Springfield, LA. Do you want me to look that up?
No, no.
Got it. We'll leave it there. Want me to stick with just the Civil War reenactments in Springfield if you ask about them again, or would you like me to also check other heritage events in the area?
What Blood River Civil War? The Blood River War. Hold on, Blood River. Hold on a second.
I see what you're asking about. Blood River near Springfield, Louisiana is tied to Civil War history. Here's the breakdown. During the American Civil War, 1861-1865, the area around Blood River near Springfield in Livingston Parish was used as a transport and skirmish site. Springfield was strategically important because of its rivers. Blood River flows into Lake Maurepas, connecting to Lake Pontchartrain and New Orleans. Confederate and Union forces both moved through the area, and skirmishes happened near Blood River, though it was not the site of a single large-scale battle like Shiloh or Vicksburg. Reenactments. Springfield, LA holds a Civil War reenactment every March, often focused on local events like those around Blood River. It's sometimes called a Blood River Civil War reenactment or part of living history events. These reenactments show camp life, weapon demonstrations, and small battle recreations, giving the town a way to honor and explore its Civil War heritage. Do you want me to pull up accounts of exact Civil War skirmishes or troop movements that happened along Blood River itself so you see what the reenactment is based on? Nice. Here's a focused source-backed summary of the Civil War fighting and troop activity tied to Blood River near Springfield, LA, and what those events look like when reenacted. What actually happened at Blood River/Springfield? There were small-scale skirmishes and scout actions along Blood River and nearby waterways rather than a single huge battle. Union gunboats and landing parties used the river system to move men and supplies. Confederates attempted to interdict those movements. Livingston Parish News, one specific episode often tied to the Battle of Blood River narrative, occurred March 12, 1865, when Union River operations and activities by contraband traders drew a Confederate response. Contemporary local accounts describe Confederate parties, reported as coming from Mobile, moving against Union boats near the Springfield Blood River area. Tick4chronicles.com. Livingston Parish saw multiple engagements, about 14 recorded engagements, 1862 to 1865, and local histories note 2 actions in the Springfield area and at least 1 on the Tick4 Blood River corridor. Those small fights were part of the wider Trans-Mississippi Red River Theater operations. Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. How this connects to larger campaigns. Troop activity in the area is linked to the Red River Trans-Mississippi operations, 1863 to 1865, while the big campaigns, Mansfield, Pleasant Hill, etc., happened elsewhere in Louisiana in 1864. The rivers and bayous around Springfield were strategically important for supply patrols and small engagements in 1864 to 1865. 64 parishes, what reenactors in Springfield recreate. The local annual event is a Civil War living history Battle of Blood River reenactment. It stages period camp life, artillery demonstrations, infantry skirmishes, and short battle scenarios meant to represent these small local engagements. You can find photos, local news write-ups, and videos from past Springfield reenactments showing the 2-day living history/battle program. Livingston Parish News. Want primary sources or more detail? I can dig deeper and pull official after-action reports, unit movements, or National Archives entries for Union naval parties and Confederate scouts in March-April 1865 near Blood River, or newspaper accounts, pension files, or contemporaneous diaries that mention the Springfield Blood River incidents. Which would you prefer? Newspapers' diaries from 1865 or official military reports and unit lists?
Official military report and units list. I'll get out of that one. See now, Chat GPT, it shows you everything. You bring it right up and tell you everything. You know what I'm saying? And everything you put on, like you say, if I was wrong for something, it corrected me because I'm going by what people telling me, couldn't find out. You know what I'm just saying? Now, just like growing your own food. You got to grow your own food these days. And like out here where I'm at right now, you got to have a greenhouse because of the weather. Okay, hot, cold, cold, hot, cold, and hot, hot and cold. I can see what the people were going through back in the 1800s when they were having war in the East Coast. You see what I'm saying now? Hold on a second. Have you heard of Gods of Gator in Springfield, Louisiana? It's a let's see.
I couldn't find anything credible about something called Gods of Gator in Springfield, Louisiana. It's possible the name is slightly off, or it's something very new or informal, so it's not well documented online yet. Here's what I did find that are similar, or might be what you meant. In Springfield, there is a non-profit called Gators and God
That's what I'm talking about. That's my boy.
Registered as a human service.
That's my boy.
Multi-purpose charity.
That's what I'm
Tax-exempt.
talking
Well,
about.
there's a place
I went to
called
school.
Walls
My people went to school with him.
Farm 2 LLC in Springfield. Legal Newsline, there are events in other parts of Louisiana called Gators on the Joke, public art fundraisers using alligator sculpt, etc. So features in lots of names/events, them.kplctv.com. If you want, I can try to track down what Gods of Gator possibly refers to. Maybe a local group, a performance, or a misheard name, and see if I can find it.
Nah, his father used to...
Do you want me to search deeper locally? Newspapers, school, or town websites?
Yeah, I know. I know him. Now this dude right here. Now he went when the hurricane hit in Florida. He went to Florida, and he helped the people. And he went He went to Ukraine too. He did. Yeah. He went to Ukraine. He went to
I
Ukraine.
dug around, couldn't find anything credible about Gods of Gator being a formal reenactment event or group in Springfield, Louisiana, but I found bits that are possibly related or mixed up. Here's what turned up, plus some thoughts on what it might be. What is real and connected? There is a non-profit called Gators and God Inc. in Springfield. It's listed in local non-profit directories. Tax exempt world. The address is 26858 Highway 1037, Springfield, LA 704628926. Tax exempt world. It's classed under Human Service Organizations Multi-Purpose. Tax exempt world. So Gators and God Inc. is real. Maybe Gods of Gator is a mishearing or variation of that name. What isn't confirmed? No sources show Gods of Gator tied to the Civil War reenactment or any war-related event in Springfield.
No, he
I
ain't.
didn't find announcements, news articles.
Now he ain't with that. See, now this dude right here, his brother named Chris. Chris Wall. Now they were a Gator farm. Now his father used to run the strawberry farm. Now they turn around and they do stuff like this. Let me show you. Oh my boy! Oh my God! Here goes my boy! Hey, follow this dude on YouTube when you get a chance. He's a singer. It's my family right here. Hey, follow him on YouTube. 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 That's my family right there. Hold on. He got some records. He on that's one of his songs right here. Follow him on YouTube. Let me find what he's doing. Where he at? Let me see. I'm gonna go to the YouTube. It's him too. That's my boy. Hold on. James Gibbs Jr. James Gibbs Jr. Gibbs. James Gibbs Jr. Here you go, right here. There you go. There you go. There you go. My people right there. Check him out on YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah.
Country boy, I'm just a country boy that believes in God, and everything I do is because of you. Always don't get it right, but you still say my
Hey,
life,
look.
so I'ma give you mine until the day I die. Just a country boy.
That's my cousin. That's my nephew right there.
And everything I do is because of you. Always don't get it right, but you still say my life, so I'ma give you mine until the day I die. I'm just a country. People see me, they say he's from the city.
That's right. That's my show line. Hey, check him out. James Gibbs Jr. He from Springfield. He from Springfield. Hey, gospel singer. That's what he is. Check him out. Go check him out on YouTube. Hey, that's my nephew right there. I got another one too. Till one. Hold on. Till one. Hold on, let me get it. The other family member right here. Go support him on YouTube. Let's see. Till one. Here's my other nephew right here. Now this is my other nephew right here. It's him. Let's go check him out on YouTube. There you go right here. Check him out. I don't own the copyright. I can't be playing it. That's his music though. Check him out. Go to YouTube and check him out on his YouTube channel. Now go check him out on his YouTube channel. That's Till One. That's a family member too. He helped me on this thing. What? He'll blow up. What? He all on YouTube. I gotta check him out. I gotta take a trip. But he's staying in Dallas right now. I gotta take a trip. I gotta go to one of his concerts. I ain't know you doing it like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of people need to learn a lot of stuff. And you around places you don't even know who you is. Like you say, you got an English name, but you got a Indian and Spanish face. When I was young, my hair used to be real long. They told me I had to cut my hair just to get a job. Yeah. See, I had to cut my hair to get a job. You feel what I'm saying? Well, I gotta go right now. I gotta go put this dog outside. Let him run around for a while. I gotta get him a bath. I have to give him a bath because he go outside and play because he got cats running around out there. You see what I'm saying now? And you got, like you said, you can take this thing here and really just focus on one thing. Grow your own food and you can sell it. You know what I'm saying? You sell your own stuff. You need some land. And you see you need to go get you like about 5 acres. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need, about 5 acres or 3. And grow your own stuff and do it yourself. That's all you gotta do. Do it yourself. Let me see something here. Now, I was trying to tell people the other day. Oh man, it's just like I was just putting the Carter plantation on that thing because the Annabelle, the plantation that burned down, you seen on TV? Oh, it burned down. Now the Carter plantation ain't too far from that Carter plantation. You see what I'm saying? So you grew up in an area like that, your family's a freedman. You know what I'm saying? And then when we was kids, we could go down to that store and tell that man to put that on my mama ticket. Hey, we ain't had to have no money in our pocket. We had credit. So go to the store, put it on my mama tab. Yeah, put on my mama tab. Have a good night. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go. I'll be back later.